and Willie debuted the show right after that, and that was when like me and Peter were like, oh, who's gonna be first? He debuted at Scott Lost last show, which was like the July one, I think. And then I debuted on the October one, and then Willie debuted on the December one. So all three of us back to back like hit our goal of being in PWG. And it was really cool. Like, I mean, I was so stoked that we all kind of did it like that. After my match with Brian, like, I went out and celebrated with Peter. We had dinner together. It was awesome. It was cool for all of us to be like, we're gonna do this, and then we did it. And it came from thanks to John Ian, honestly. Obviously he was putting in a word for his talents from Mach 1 when it in Super Dragon's ear. Joey was the head trainer there, so he was kind of doing the same, like, hey, these students are good or not good enough for PWG, but like he's like, hey, these guys are on the way. These guys are on the shows every Friday. So it's like Mach 1 was really kind of what got me, Willie, and Peter to PWG. It absolutely was. AWS was another place that people would see us, that kind of, had some say in the area. But when it comes down to it, Super Dragon just picks who he wants. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You could be the most over guy on the planet and he'd be like, I don't care. I don't like his work. And that's just the truth. And there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people think it's harsh. A lot of people think Super Dragon's mean, but it's cut and dry. Like, he's got an idea of what he wants his show to be, and he doesn't care like if you're The Rock. If The Rock tried to get booked, he'd probably be like, I don't know. And that's just it's just how it is. So for us to
He
get
just
that
has his taste,
okay,
right? His own
yeah,
unique taste.
absolutely. And it's funny because obviously he watches everybody before they get there. He's PWG is it's elite. It's taken very seriously. So he had obviously watched whatever matches I'd sent Joey to send to him. But I got there and I looked at I didn't have my gear on. You can't see my tattoos. Whatever, I showed up and I remember I went up to him. I was like, hey, how you doing? My name's Andrew. It's nice to meet you. And Super Dragon looked at me and he just went, okay. Are you ring crew? And I was just like, oh no, I'm Johnny Yuma. I'm booked tonight. And he was just like, oh, okay, awesome. I think you're up first. It's you and Brian. Brian's up. Have fun. And I was just like, oh, okay, sweet. And that was it. Literally, that was it. He trusted us. And that took a lot of my nerves away because I was nervous, but not really. And a lot of why I wasn't nervous was also because of Willie. Because Willie would be like, guys that wanted to be on it so bad, they'd be like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could hang. I don't know if I could do that. Ooh, the crowd is so harsh because the crowd at PWG used to be
Yeah.
brutal, brutal. It was like as smart and like deep critiqued as possible. People were there looking for mistakes. It wasn't what it is now where it seems to have gotten. I mean, there's still those fans, there always will be, but it's gotten a lot more lighthearted and enjoyable, I think, for
It's
both the
almost like a
talent and the fans.
celebration now, while back then it was like people looking to critique in a way.
Yeah, dude, it felt like a damn freaking like I mean, I'm no martial artist, but whatever your like black belt test is, like that's what it like would feel like. But Willie was just like, so what? It's just another show. And I was like, we should probably treat it as more than that. And he's like, it's a show. He's like, what's the difference? He's like, there's a crowd, there's a ring, and you're wrestling. He's like, it's a show. Why are you nervous? And I was like, God damn, okay. And he was right. He was right, and being kind of just told, like, yeah, Brian's up, have fun. That to have that faith in our first match. I mean, and like maybe, obviously they trusted Brian. He'd been on a few shows, so but whatever is basically like, yeah, just go out there and do your thing, do whatever it was that got you here and do it your best.